when I was 228 pounds and couldn't even turn on top of the mountain because I was so exhausted. You better make a change now so I can walk my daughter down the aisle one day, right? That's where I was at. I ended up being 38 pounds lost, say what, 3 months or so. The surprise was, thinking I had to starve myself to lose weight. Not exaggerating, I was never hungry throughout this whole program, which still kind of shocks me to this day. You can once look in the mirror and be like, yeah, like who is that guy? Dang.
Zach, welcome, brother. I appreciate you hopping on with me today. Today, I just want to jump into, your transformation, your results with us, and your experience, and hopefully you can just give some knowledge to anybody watching this.
Absolutely.
Awesome, brother. So why don't we first kick off by just, telling us who you are, what you do for work, your family situation, things of that sort.
Yeah. So I've been working for a developer for multifamily for about 4 years now, and have been in real estate for over 20 years. So busy at work. We're building all over the country. So going from Florida to the state of Washington to Chicago. So just all over. So definitely busy. And then also I have 3 kids, senior and junior in high school, and a 5th grader, all very active. I'm a sports fan, as you can tell. I was
Good year. Good
trying to
year.
wear the Colts hat this year.
Go.
Yeah. If I'm busy at work, and then usually my evenings I am running a kid to practice or going to a game. So it's 7 days a week, literally, for sports between practices and games.
Yeah, and I think you're almost downplaying how busy you are, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially with the work and balancing the kids and doing it all yourself. Like, some people, I remember on our initial call, you're like, dude, I just don't have time. And, most people, when they say that to me, I'm like, dude, pull out your freaking Instagram right now. Let's see how much time you're spending on that or whatever. But some people, I'm like, oh no, this guy really doesn't have time. We really need to figure this out. And you were one of those guys where it's like, oh shit, this guy really doesn't have time. But despite that, walk me through some of the results you were able to get in terms of, let's just start with pure numbers. Where'd you start and where'd you end up?
So I ended up being 38 pounds lost in that say what, 3 months or so. So started at 228, got down to like 190. The physical loss is obvious. I had a lot of compliments and just from people at work and family and friends. Just the excuse of being too busy, right?
Mm.
Well, that was an excuse, and it was to make it a priority and to figure out, get it done. So don't make an excuse. And I've never done that for any part of my life.
Yeah.
So why not put your health towards top of the list, not bottom? Maybe it was just 2 workouts a week, and that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Don't just not do it at all, right? So squeeze in what you can.
Yeah, that's a very thing you just highlighted. Like, so many guys fall into very much an all or nothing mindset, where if I can't get in the gym every single day, I'm just not going to do it at all. And for you, did you fall into that a little bit beforehand?
Absolutely. For me, it was, I just had this perception of a diet and losing weight as you're starving yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to run like a marathon to lose weight. And that's why I was like, I don't like running. I don't want, who likes running? Or at least I don't, speaking for myself. Or dieting is just, you just starve yourself. So coming across your program, kind of your checklist that you provided, I was like, weightlifting. I like that a lot in college, but my perception of that was you had to do it 4 or 5 days a week for 2 hours. Well, I don't have 2 hours to give, so that's why I just didn't do it, or didn't think of weightlifting as an option, right? Thought it was you had to run 13 miles and starve yourself. Well, I don't want to do that. So.
And had you tried those things before, or was it just like that's what you thought you needed to do? So you're just like, screw this, I'd rather be 230 something.
Right. Yeah, that's just what I thought you had to do. So I didn't know weightlifting was a weight loss strategy. I thought weightlifting was more trying to get jacked.
Yeah.
I just didn't know of weightlifting as a weight loss strategy, and
that's the nuance, right? And that's why people don't think it's a weight loss strategy, because it's technically not, right? Like, weightlifting is more of a muscle building strategy, but therefore can indirectly become a weight loss strategy because you build muscle, you have a faster metabolism, it's easier to get in a calorie deficit with food, with your steps. So it's not like directly a weight loss strategy, and that's why people don't think of it as one.
Right.
But it also shouldn't be thought of one. It should be thought of an indirect weight loss strategy, more so to make sure you're maintaining the muscle you have, if not building muscle, if you haven't been in the gym for a while, as you lose weight with the steps and the nutrition. And so talk to me about that. Busy as hell. How did you manage nutrition, steps with what you got going on?
Well, and so that was the surprise was, thinking I had to starve myself to lose weight. So not exaggerating, I was never hungry throughout this whole program, which still kind of shocks me to this day. You eat right. You don't cut out all the processed garbage that is all we find in our country, which is unfortunate. But
That's true.
so it takes longer. You got to prep. I just mass produced. I cooked, like a good portion on Sunday. Didn't like measure it out and put it in all these Tupperware.
Bodybuilder style.
But I just kind of mass produced it on Sunday and put it all in the Tupperware. And then as each day came, I then would measure it out. And then would eat that during the whole week. And then, being smart, right? So don't have a big meal at 9 o'clock at night just to go to sleep. That's not very smart. So
That's not smart at all.
and I'd come home 8 o'clock, 8:30 and have a big old pasta meal and wonder why I was gaining weight, right? Well,
Yep.
So be smart when you get home. Like my evenings, if I'm home at 9 or 9:30, that's normal, so
Yep.
I'm hungry. So I just didn't have a huge pasta meal. I'd have the protein Greek yogurt with some blueberries.
Smart.
And that was enough because I was definitely starving by that point. And then I would pack some snacks during the day, come home if it was 8:30 at night or 8 o'clock at night, have that Greek yogurt with blueberries.
And that's a big thing you hit on, right? Because a lot of guys will come home late at night and then just like gorge. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is you brought some snacks. I'd love to hear what those snacks were to kind of make sure you were thinking clearly when you got home. And then you'd have something super convenient in the fridge that was healthy so that, you could get ahead of that before you got into the bad shit.
Yep.
Was that accurate?
Absolutely. Yeah. So on my busier days, which is most days, I'd pack my dinner and have that for lunch. So, my diet meal was steak, rice, and broccoli. That's a horrible diet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think eating steak on a diet, right? So I had my dinner at lunch and then I would pack, and with bread, I'd have bread with honey. So you can't have carbs. Well, it wasn't the store-bought crap. You buy the fresh bread. So I was having carbs too. So then I had dates or either maybe that yogurt for a snack. So I'd have dates, sometimes like a protein shake before going to the gym. And then when I came home, it was just the protein Greek yogurt with blueberries.
So you would eat pretty repetitively, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. I don't need something different every day. It was, just using that meal plan, and it was a means to an end. Now,
Talk about that before we move on. I want to talk about that mindset because that's such an important mindset, because where so many guys lead themselves wrong is they look at food as like this dopaminergic pleasure. And, it's a hard truth, but it's going to be nearly impossible if that's how you look at food. If you're always looking for some dopamine, some comfort, you name the feeling in food, it's going to be really hard for you to get the body you're after, the health you're after. So shifting from however you want to call that mindset to looking at food as fuel and food as health is night and day difference in how you approach food. So how did that shift occur for you?
So like, for example, when I wasn't on the meal plan, just using that knowledge or information. So I would cook like smoked pork chops, peas, salad, and bread, right? So between that on weekends and then, any business lunches you're trying to, so I'm kind of getting that 1 or 2 meals a week different than the meal plan, so to speak.
Sure.
But it was also when for me, it's a lifestyle change. It just wasn't a diet. It was, seeking a lifestyle change because my current trajectory of where I was heading wasn't good.
In what way?
Just when I was 228 pounds and couldn't even turn on top of the mountain because I was so exhausted, and I was what, 44 then? Like
Yeah.
that ain't good, So you better make a change now so I can walk my daughter down the aisle one day, right? That's where I was at. It's a lifestyle change, and part two was naturally this was a good fit. Like, I think people get a lot of empty calories with drinks, right?
Yep.
With just for coffee, for example, right? So I've always liked black coffee, so I don't put a lot of stuff in it. Um, so that's where I think it just sneaks up on you. Like, so I think when you're logging your food, which I always thought was a pain, right? When I was like, I got log food, this sucks. Well, then I did it for a week, and you don't realize what you're consuming, right? So if you're logging your food, you figure out some of these empty calories that you just didn't have an idea on, right? So I think my first week of doing this, I think first day even, I logged, I think, a Cliff Bar,
I
and
remember that.
yeah, and it was a green tea with honey. So I thought that was healthy, right?
Yeah,
I logged it and I was like, holy smokes, that's 80% of my carbs.
yeah.
And I'm just at lunch. No wonder why I'm gaining weight,
Yeah.
It was a lifestyle change, be smart with your calories. And it was addictive to the, like a good addiction of you're making good choices, you're eating right, and you're getting results. It was almost to the point where I'm not going to eat this. There's donuts at the office or these muffins because I made such good progress. It's it's a much better and more efficient decision to not eat that cookie so I don't have to run 13 miles, right? It's a trade-off. So do you want to run 13 miles or just not eat that cookie? I'm not going to eat that cookie.
It's a great
That's,
point, man. And it's like, you hear like the rhetoric of like, I'd rather be fat and happy or whatever it is, like with eat the cookies and stuff like that. But then when you frame it like how you just did, where it's like walking your daughter down the aisle, just for me, waking up, having energy, having the confidence, like you want that or you want a cookie? Like,
yeah. And it's different when you're, I'm not a fashionable guy. I could care less about fashion, but it's nice when it was summer. I'd go to the pool and be like, yeah, I'm gonna take off my shirt. Don't care. I worked hard for this.
yeah, my guy. So, what would you say is the biggest way that, prioritizing your health, making it an actual top priority instead of just something that, maybe you'll get to at some point, besides just seeing a different number on a scale, what would you say is the main way that actually changed your life?
More energy, stress relief. Like,
Mm.
who doesn't have stress, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just left a tough meeting yesterday to end my day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna have a good workout. I'm gonna work out this. Like, I'm ticked. Just it was a intense meeting, but came out winning. But still, it was like just me crushing on the dumbbell press today. I'm ticked. I was like,
That's the best, man. That's
want to go if there's people on I'm like, hey man, get out. I got to hit this right now. Like, either I'd get out of my way. This is not, I'm being funny, but um yeah, just based on energy, stress relief, and just you can once look in the mirror and be like, yeah, like, who is that guy? Dang, you worked hard for this. You've earned it.
yeah, and that's so worth it in itself. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your experience. This was freaking awesome. A lot of great insights, a lot of good gems in here. Um, any last thing you want to say to wrap a bow on this?
Yeah, don't just no excuses.
Yeah.
It's you got to make it a priority, and to me, you got to plan it out. Plan your week, and where can you squeeze it in? And if you miss a day or two, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just just get after it, keep getting after it and see it as if you get 2 in, that's okay. Next week, take a look at that week, see what you can get done. Just plan it out, plan your week in advance and stick to it. You're going to be a much better person. It's a lifestyle change. It's not a diet.
Legendary, man. Dude, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.